Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, there's yet more news of further revamps, reboots, reimaginings within our favourite genre of horror. Yeah, I mean, you know, this has been already redone. Nightmare on Elm Street got revamped in 2010 with Jackie L. Haley playing Freddy Krueger. And it was shit. Was it not? It was absolute, complete donkey turd. And they've been trying to get this sort of, redone again ever since. Loads of little rumours and oh, this is going to happen. We've got so-and-so on board. And then Blumhouse, a few years ago, said, yeah, we've got it. And Jason Blum, Blumhouse, who fucked up Halloween, who are now in the process of fucking up The Exorcist and any other, cherished horror movie they're making a franchise out of and fucking it up. They said, oh yeah. Jason Blum said, I'm going to get Robert Englund back to play Freddy Krueger. And Robert Englund said, look, I've done this a million times. I'm getting sick of it. I'll come back and I'll do a cameo. That's what I'll do. I'll do that. And if you ask my opinion, this is Robert Englund, Freddy himself, saying, to get someone to play Freddy who's got intensity, he's got vigour, he's got a sense of humour, he's got charisma as well, which is all the things that you need to play Freddy Krueger. If you're going to be stupid enough to try to remake, the original Nightmare on Elm Street or bring back one of the most iconic Titans of Terror ever, he said, Kevin Bacon. He said this back in 2015, 2016. Did old Krueger himself. He said, yeah, Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon, of course, Tremors, Flatliners, Instead of Echoes, what else? Hollow Man. Oh dear God. I mean, you could see right through him in that, couldn't you? All his motives. It was obvious. You could see right through him. I love Kevin Bacon. He's now the champion, of course, of EE. The EE network. And all his adverts and commercials are all in the UK. The UK EE. Does Kevin Bacon now live here in the UK? Because he certainly seems to have been here for fucking years. Now, I like Kevin Bacon a lot. Death Sentence, where he gets revenge on a bunch of racist, horrible bastards, led by the probably horribly nasty John Goodman, who's the patriarch of this clan of bastards. And Kevin Bacon will shave his head, he'll lose his son, his daughter, his wife, and he'll go on a rampage. It's kind of like it's a uber violent variation on Death Wish, Death Sentence, Death Wish, and it's great. I have no qualms with Kevin Bacon whatsoever. I think he's a great actor, and he did cut his teeth, or rather cut his throat, his Tom Savini applied fake throat in Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th, where the arrowhead comes up through his neck under the bunk bed, and it gets wiggled around and he's spitting out gouts of blood, and everyone thought, my God, they really killed that kid. They didn't kill that kid, because that kid was Kevin Bacon. Now, him playing Freddy Krueger, yeah, I mean, I actually can see that happening. I can see him delivering with a grin and a few wisecracks. Because the thing about Freddy Krueger is that he's got a huge sense of humour. He's a nasty bastard. And he's a paedophile as well. Let's not forget that. And Kevin Bacon has played a paedophile in The Woodsman. And he played it really well. And he made you sympathise with him as well. Which is a really difficult act to pull off. And he did it. The scene on the bus where he's trying to suppress his feelings after being inside. And to take on a role like that, that is really, really pushing your own boundaries. I mean, I am the Kilt-Man, and I would love to be in movies. Haha, as if this fizzog is ever going to be, on a movie screen. But if I was given a role and it happened to be a paedophile or a rapist, I'd say, no, I'm not doing it. Sorry, I'm not doing it. I just won't do it. But you can't afford to turn it down because the money's great and it's a great role for you. There could be Oscars here for this. And it's pushing boundaries, it's breaking taboos, it's subversive, and it's going to give a whole new insight into the mindset of, these sort of people. I'd still be going, no, I ain't doing it. I'm never going to do it. Kevin Bacon did do it. Wow, and Freddy Krueger is a paedophile. Let's not forget this. He's a pedo. And he's a nonce. He's a child murderer and abuser, rapist. Not really said so much in the movie, but we know what he is. And Kevin Bacon's done this before, not as a character in movies. He's done it before and done it really well. So I kind of get that. Could he bring a huge gravitas to the role? Do you want that sense of depth and character and sympathise with him? The thing about Nightmare on Elm Street is what it did, it made you actually like and champion a paedophile child murderer. It's truly unbelievable, what happened with that franchise. The first movie, you're terrified of him. He is funny and he's got the one-liners and he's always playing tricks. But it so blows your mind that you're along for the ride. When you go beyond Freddy's Revenge, Part 2, and then you go into Dream Warriors and then ad infinitum, he becomes the superstar. He is literally the Robin Williams of the horror genre. There's a wisecrack, a joke, a bit of slapstick. It waters it down, and that's the thing where the franchise went wrong, because he became just a caricature. He's not the bogeyman anymore. He's not like what he did in the past. And that's what lets it down, I think. So, with that in mind, I am not averse to rebooting and reimagining Freddy Krueger. I know. Now, yeah, this is me. This is me talking. Kilt-Man, who has denounced so many reboots and reimaginings on this channel, mainly because they've all been shit. Look at the Halloween, and I get this Blumhouse in it. Look at my God, Friday the 13th has tried it. They're going to try it again, and you've had Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Only this year, 2022, you had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, whatever the hell it was called. My God, gory as hell, but what a complete pile of shit it was as well. And you brought in a legacy character, well, two legacy characters, Leatherface and Sally Hardesty. But it was garbage. So the history of Hollywood and these studios and these production houses trying to revamp and reinvigorate what they know are cash cows is mostly met with disaster.
No running in the hallway.
Okay. I'm just sitting here. I'm not running anywhere. And now you're going to try to do it again with Freddy Krueger. I do think they can do this. The abortive 2010 Jackie L. Haley was a nightmare. It was a clag fest. It was just awful. Too po-faced, too serious, and yet not scary. It lacked all the set pieces. It lacked all the vigor. The thing is, now you could do a version today with all the set pieces and all the the gore and the effects and the whole dream world interfering with reality. And who are we? Am I awake now? Is this real? What is it? The perfect thing about the original Nightmare on Elm Street is that it fucked with your mind as well. When I first saw it, I've said it before on this channel many, many times. When I first saw the movie on its premiere in the UK, it blew my mind. I was not the same person. When I came out of the cinema with all my mates and a girlfriend, when I come out of that cinema, I was sitting in shock. I literally did not know if I was dreaming or not. It had screwed with my mind so brilliantly, which is why I love Nightmare on Elm Street. It's one of the most perfect horror movies that I've ever seen. And you know, I'm Kilt-Man, and I've seen a few of these things, you know, but it really worked a number on me to try to recapture that, which is, you know, lightning in a bottle. To do that again now, that's going to take real, you know, cojones to do that. But with a slew of really bad sequels, mostly. Well, yeah, predominantly. A really crap reimagining. But Freddy Krueger still is there in the cultural sort of subconscious, literally subconscious. And he is a zeitgeist of terror, Titan iconography. You've rebooted Michael Myers badly. You've rebooted Pinhead from Hellraiser very badly. Leatherface, obviously, Jason Voorhees is, as I say, is coming back again. But all these, Dracula, how many times? Frankenstein's monster, how many times? But Freddy Krueger is something kind of beyond that. He does permeate. He breaks the wall, the fourth wall. He's a meta demon. He's not bound by any rules, so he can be reworked. So how would you do it? And who would you have to play Freddy Krueger? Well, of course, there are a few little options. Kevin Bacon is what Robert Englund wants to be there. Now, Robert Englund said this a few years ago, but apparently he said it again only recently, because this whole thing is coming back round again. Jason Blum's bigging it up, and, you know, we're going to do this, you know, it's going to happen. And it will, and you can bet your arse pubes that it will happen. And you've got Englund saying, Kevin Bacon's me man, he's me man. But Englund saying, I will come back for a cameo, I'd like to be in it, but I can't. This is what he said, I can't do 7 or 8 movies beyond this. Because he already knows the whole franchise idea, the money-grabbing cash cow that is any horror or movie franchise, is to make more than one. And having already done about 8 sequels to Nightmare on Elm Street, he's like, I'm in my 70s now, I can't. Or is he 80? He might be 80 now. He's an old man now. And he's like, well, I can't do all that. You need someone who's old enough to portray. It can't be a young man. It's got to be an older man playing this sort of role, who can then do more and more and more, because that's what they're going to want. And he said, I won't be on board for all this. And also, I think, reading between the lines, he's not a fan of, like, just, if you're going to do it, just do one. Make one great revamp. But he knows what happens. Inevitably, if that revamp is a great movie and makes money, it's beyond anyone's control to stop, you know, that monetary, you know, momentum taking place, and it will become a massive franchise again, with the Lord of Diminishing Returns. So he reckons Kevin Bacon, and that's not a bad choice. As I said before, he's played a pedo before. That does not sound terrible, but you know, it is what it is. He's got previous. Kevin, by the way, I love you, but you can't take that element away from Freddy Krueger's character. So, right, I made a little list of people that I think could play it. Some are obvious, some maybe not so obvious. Some would be like, you're kind of like, oh, I see what you're doing there. But no, you can't dig Jimmy Savile up from his grave. And, or maybe you can, I don't know, because he's dead anyway. He comes back. Freddy will fix it for you. Anyway, so what did I write here? Kevin Bacon, obviously. I wrote, and this is that obvious. Jim Carrey. Why Jim Carrey? Well, he played the Mask. He's an anarchic, wild, rubber-faced sort of guy. You wouldn't need much in the way of prosthetics for him. Just paint his face, and he can do all the kind of crazy, grins. Give him a bigger nose, obviously, make him more gnome-like, more goblin-like, which is what England had in spades. He didn't need a lot of makeup. He's got the face of a gremlin, of a goblin already. But Jim Carrey is also a good actor. I've always said this, comedy actors, when they turn serious, and there's so many of them that have done it, Robin Williams, Steve Martin, when they do serious stuff, Billy Connolly as well, my God, it's really impactful, because comedy and serious stuff is a fine line. To make comedy work, you've got to be really serious to do it. And if you can do that and make people laugh, then you can make them cry, you can make them scream in shock, and you can make them, thoughtful and reflective. Comedians are really, really powerful. They can't all turn to both sides, the comedy and the serious, but Robin Williams could do it. Of course, sadly now deceased. But Jim Carrey, I think, could do it. So, Jim Carrey, rubber face, and it would be a nice bit of stunt casting as well. Stunt casting in the best way, because you're like, what? Jim Carrey's going to play Freddy Krueger? Well, I've got to see this. And I think he could do it. Who else did I come up with? Andy Serkis. Your mocap man. You want mocap? You go Andy Serkis. You want a big giant ape? Go Andy Serkis. You want a little ape? You go Andy Serkis. You want Gollum? You go Andy Serkis. You want this. Andy Serkis. The guy can act as well. He can act. And he's pretty damn good. And he's got a little sort of munchkin face as well. So he could actually do it with, you haven't got to transform his face with mocap. Just put a bit of prosthetics on him and the guy can do it. He can be scary, he can be intense, he can be funny. Andy Serkis. Think about it. Good work. Scouse actor Stephen Graham, who's played Al Capone. He's played a myriad of real life roles and gritty kitchen sink drama sort of roles. He was in something recently, The Walk-In, he played, it's based on a true story, he played an ex-racist, Scouse racist, and he was then trying to work to stop other people being drawn into the racist, crowd and the gangs and the violence and the whole hatred sort of angle. And he's wonderful in that with his actual accent. Now, in the much lamented Neil Marshall took his name off the film, rightly so, but the Hellboy reboot, after Guillermo del Toro's 2 movies, should have been 3, Guillermo, Ron Perlman, fucking come back, for God's sake, finish it off. But no, and Stephen Graham played, I forgot his name now, is it Grishnak? Something like that, anyway. From The Wild Hunt. The Wild Hunt is one of my... I love Mike Mignola's Hellboy. I've got all the graphic novels. I've got them all, and the novels as well. I've got everything on the short stories. I've got everything. Love Hellboy. And that... Was it 2016, 2017? Reboot without Ron Perlman. And Neil Marshall made it, but the film was massively changed behind his back, and I have nothing to do with this. This is not my movie anymore. And it was, I forgot the guy's name now, from Stranger Things, Sheriff Hopper. He was Hellboy, and he weren't too bad. But yet Stephen Graham playing Pig Nose thing. Oh God, I forgot his name. And it's The Wild Hunt, which is one of the best ever ongoing sagas of Hellboy. And but he played him with a Scouse accent. Now, I reviewed the movie, and I know everybody else under the sun despised it. And I went, you know what? It's one of my favourite Hellboy stories. And there's elements which really work. And I love Stephen Graham playing this pig-nosed little demon thing with a pure, very, very foul-mouthed, potty-mouthed, Scouse demonic voice. And I absolutely loved his portrayal of that. And he's played so many other things. Stephen Graham as Freddy Krueger. He's a little fella as well. And he's lost a little bit of weight. He's got a bit of a pudgy face normally, but he's lost a lot of weight lately. But he's still got a little etching sort of... You put the makeup on him. You look at his face. Could work. I'd like to see that, actually. Stephen Graham playing Freddy Krueger. Could do, and with a Scouse accent. You know, that could be really amusing. Anyway, so, right, let's go beyond that. Right. Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell can wear prosthetics and be transformed. The Batman. Robert Eggers is the Batman. Absolutely amazing. He plays the Penguin. And although he's not, Danny DeVito, he's just a man who's, excuse me, scarred. A bit of a double chin on him, but he's got a bit of a pointy nose, and he's got sort of like arched, eyes and brows and things. But he is just a man. But you can see why he'd be called the Penguin, because he has the caricature, the features of a penguin, but with a human face. So Colin Farrell, who's also played Jerry Dandridge in the remake of Fright Night, so he's done a classic horror movie remake, and that was good. That remake of Fright Night was actually really good. Really enjoyed that. It didn't take anything from the original movie, which is still the best, of course, but it didn't harm it either, and was an interesting film in its own right. And Colin Farrell is a great actor and quite intense, unless he's playing Alexander for Oliver Stone with that horrible blonde moppet bloody little fright wig on, for fuck's sake. But Colin Farrell can put the makeup on and can be really intense. And he's got the manic face, and the eyes will come through. You know what Colin Farrell's capable of. He could do it. I'd like that. So that's 3. Well, I like Kevin Bacon. I like Jim Carrey. I like Andy Serkis, Stephen Graham, and now, you just said, Colin Farrell. That's 5. I've got 5. There's more. There's more, folks. There's more. Okay, we're now going to enter into the realms of stunt casting, and I mean just out there. But you know what? It could work. How about Mel Gibson? What is that you're saying, Kilt-Man? You're all going, what? Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is a Hollywood pariah. He's working his way back in, of course, and he's been working, non-stop. This guy has done, since all his tirades and weirdness, he has done nothing but tons of independent movies. Whether he's producing them, starring in them, he's working constantly. Expendables 3, he was the best one in it, of course. So many other movies. Even the Fat Man is sort of the real Santa, who's actually a super trained, older, fatter, but special forces trained guy. If you haven't seen it, I reviewed it. Watch The Fat Man. It's a bizarre take. But Gibbo has intensity, he has charisma, he has screen presence. You put him in makeup, which I'd love to see. He did wear prosthetics for The Man Without a Face, his directorial debut, and he's great in that as well. So Gibson would be a big draw, wouldn't it? Now Gibson playing a murderous nightmare figure who's also an ex-paedophile. I think people are going, it's not much of a stretch. Think about it, folks. Gibbo. Has Gibbo done a horror film before? Has he? Shit, all of a sudden I can't remember now. Signs. Yeah, well, Signs is sci-fi, but there's a horror element to it. Anything beyond that? I can't really think. You can't class any of the Mad Max movies as horror. No, I think Signs is possibly his first, is really bona fide venture into the darker elements. But he could do that. Imagine him in this, with a Martin Riggs, half burnt off mullet. Could work. And he's got the grin, he's got the mad eyes. He can do all that. He can deliver, this zany madcap, mania with a real severe, unpredictable energy. That's what you want for Freddy Krueger. You don't want to know what is going to come up with next. This is the problem with the franchise movies of Elm Street, is that you just maybe it's the Claws doing a Jaws pastiche coming up through the sea and then through the beach, you're all my children now, and whatever it happens to be. After the first movie where everything was groundbreaking, it then became the norm. Now you need to work on those ideas and make them. Freddy's got to be the main character. He's got to be really huge. And if you don't make him huge, then he's got to be only in tiny moments. Build up, suspense. This is what they did, of course, with the 2010 remake, which is why it failed. You want Freddy front and centre. But you've got to have good characters around it. Now, I'm not even going to talk about who's going to play Nancy or her dad or whoever, because at the moment, is it a remake? Is it a reboot? None of us know. They've been trying to get this done for, years now. It was 2022 right now, and there's nothing concrete now, even now. And yet, for about the last 10 years, they've been trying to get this sorted out. And they will do it. They will do it. Of course, it could also be a TV show, couldn't it? It could be a Netflix movie. It could be an Amazon movie. It could be whatever. Hulu. Or an anthology show, which they've done already. That Freddy's Nightmares was the TV anthology thing, wasn't it? So there's lots of avenues to explore, but I think this film is going to be, and I'd love to see, and I know this is coming from me, who's a diehard hater of revamps, reimaginings. Leave the classics alone. But Freddy's a big character. Freddy's a huge character, and there's enough of that idea to sort of, I don't want to use the word embrace when it's a fucking paedophiliac nonce, but there's enough of that idea. Dreams, a horrible child murderer, and the charisma that he has and the power that he wields in the dream world. There's enough of that to actually move it along a little bit. I know. I sound like you're such a contradictory bastard. Everything you said before, but there's a lot more to Freddy Krueger that you could explore. But you still got to adhere to the core elements of his powers in the dream world and his little tricks and the way he taunts and teases his victims. Who else did I pick? I put Tom Cruise down. Why the fuck did I do that? Well, Tom Cruise has played the vampire Lestat. He has got a really energetic, completely, hugely animated face, big mad eyes, big grin, one of the biggest grins in Hollywood. He could do that. You put the burn makeup on him, and he's worn, what was it, Vanilla Sky? Was it Vanilla Sky? What was the one with a burn victim? I can't remember now. And obviously, Into the Vampire, he gets burnt in that as well. He has worn facial appliances, and he doesn't mind playing a bad guy. Look at Collateral. You know, he has played bad guys, ruthless twats in the past. So Tom Cruise, ooh, no, imagine that. And I don't think it's something that Tom Cruise would go, I'm not doing. No. I think he'd consider it. And if he considered it and then did it, Jesus, there'll be bums on seats. Bums on seats, I say. So Tom Cruise, that's actually, although it sounds preposterous and it's highly unlikely, but imagine that though. That'd be great. Look at me doing that. My nose, the beard out there. I've got a little goblin sort of face as well. Maybe I could... Oh no, it's already happening. Nancy, no running in the hallways. Who else did I pick? Okay, right. Well, Johnny Depp. Bazinga! Johnny Depp, who's in the original movie, of course. Dead fresh face, dead young, and sadly gets drawn down into his mattress and becomes one of the most preposterous, endless fountains of gore. No human body holds that amount of gore, but I like that about the movie. The movie, it blends. In the dream world, he could be bleeding forever in an absolute, a hot geyser sort of fountain of gore for evermore. But in reality, the body only he has been killed. The body only holds so much, What the coroner have to say? He's been the John puking since he saw it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And Johnny Depp is a great OTT character actor. Jack Sparrow, and many others. Edward Scissorhands, Ichabod Crane. Oh God, so many. What's his name? The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Sweeney Todd. Sweeney Todd. He's a great actor. I do love and adore Johnny Depp. And with all the crap he's been through in the last couple of years, 3 years, more in fact, with Amber Heard. See, there's my allegiance. The Deppster. He could do this. And that would be great stunt casting as well, because he's in the original. He's a victim then. Now you're going to make him Freddy Krueger. His face has got wider in the last few years. And let's be honest, there's been some work done. I don't think it's really worked too well. But, his face has got wider. But it doesn't matter. He could still, with the makeup on, and it would work. And he has got a great screen persona, which could be twisted and turned into insanity and depravity, but with mirth and merriment and an unpredictable sort of zeal. Johnny Depp. That's a good one. It's a good one, that. Good one, Kilt-Man. Who else you did come up with then? Oh yeah. You put down Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson, who's also worked with Tom Cruise. And he is a renowned Hollywood maverick, psycho, unpredictable and wild. Played a psycho in so many movies now. Is it really a far stretch that he could play Freddy Krueger? Not really. He's got the face for it as well. He's got that face. Again, Nicholson has a very sort of lupine face. Even with, he's bald and all that, but you put the sideys on him and the way his eyebrows literally form pyramids like that. It's purely wolfish, his face, which is why he was great in Mike Nichols' Wolf, where he played a wolf man. And arguably he's done it throughout most of his career. He's played a bit of a wolfish sort of chap. Carnivorous, unpredictable, wild, and just prone to moments of complete and utter lunar madness. He's great. Now, could he play Freddy Krueger? Too damn right he could. Of course he could. Getting on a bit now, though. Getting on a bit. is it really such a stretch that he could perhaps do this? Depending on how the film was actually made. But his voice, his face beneath those prosthetics could work. He's tried, tested, trusted when it comes to movie mayhem and madness. Ta-da! Who else did I put down? Hey, well, okay. Samuel L. Jackson. I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy, you motherfucker. You know, No. But imagine it. It would be great stunt casting. You would have gazillions of people for the opening weekend to watch Samuel L. playing Freddy L. Krueger. And my God, it just couldn't possibly work, could it? So why did I put him down? But I did anyway. Pure stunt casting. Samuel L. I can't do the voice without going motherfucker all the time. So I'm still not going to bother. You can make up your own lines and let me know down below. Make up your own quotes, your own Freddy Samuel L. Jackson quotes. Who else to come with? Okay, right. Well, there you go. Olivia Colman, the darling of TV and movies now. Olivia Colman, British actress, who is outstanding in everything she ever does. Yes, a woman. Frederica Krueger. You spin the whole thing around. You make the villain a woman. Oh, Kilt-Man, you're going woke. You think about this. This would be perhaps the thing to stop the whole woke sensibility. The woke crowd. You bring a woman in to play a dream demon ex-pederast. Has that happened before? We know that women have been involved in child sex crimes and murders. Ian Brady and the bitch, the harridan that he was with the Moors murders, you know, Myra Hindley. Oh my God! Look at Myra Hindley's face. You just put a bit of burn makeup on. You've got Myra Hindley. She's got the same features as our Fredster. I can't believe how much she's sitting here discussing filthy bitch child murderers and molesters in the context of a great horror franchise. But that's what the horror franchise is spawned from. And that's the wicked thing that Wes Craven did when he created Nightmare on Elm Street. And a lot of people do forget this. And they do. Because he becomes a pop horror icon. He's on t-shirts and he's got these quotes. And we all wear these. Well, we don't all wear them. I know I'm wearing one, but you don't all wear them. But people do. And you all want the finger gloves and all that. Like, you think about it, what he did. I mean, how we all feel about child molesters and, you know, pederasts and child murderers. Well, you know, just give me 5 minutes with him or her, because women do it as well. Women do it as well. Myra Hindley was an absolute fucking bitch, and she played around with the victims' mothers as well. You know what? And of course, well, they're dead now. Both of them are dead, and they took their secrets of the last victim to their grave, but they never told. Despite, you know, we'll go on to Saddleworth Moors again, and we'll tell the police. I think it could be buried there. Playing bastards. Now, so you want to subvert and reinvent Freddy Krueger for a new audience. I'm not saying this is right, but I'm saying it's a way of doing it. You make it a woman, and you'll find it will backfire, probably backfire, because guarantee you, penny to a pinch of shite, that 99% of people are going to be, abhorrent to what a woman, not a woman playing Freddy Krueger, but a woman being that in the past and then attacking other people with a malicious sense of humour and a wicked, delight in malice and murder and taunting. See, you accept the fella doing it. Your Michael Myers, your Voorhees. The thing is, they've just turned Pinhead into a woman, albeit a transgender woman. No, not knocking any of that. But you've changed the character of Pinhead into a woman. And, I thought the remake of, or the reboot of Hellraiser was absolutely piss poor. I reviewed it. I despised it. I thought it was really, really badly made. But I'm not against the idea of, having... If you're going to remake something and do something different with it, do something different. Do something different. Don't just tell the same old story, but you've got to do something different. But you've got to make it worthwhile. You've got to have a story, have characters, have something worthwhile. And the idea behind the Hellraiser, having a woman doing it, wasn't a bad idea as Pinhead. Wasn't a bad idea at all. Or just, Priest, as she was actually really called. Going back to Clive Barker's original novella, The Hellbound Heart. But the film was still shit. It didn't save the film at all. So, can you imagine having a woman playing Freddy Krueger? Frederica Krueger. She could still be called Freddy Krueger. Wouldn't really matter. Just call me Freddy, And to go along with that, I'd come up with someone else as well. And it's another woman. Charlie, I had to look. I remembered it, but I had to look at my list in case I maybe added a few other names which I've forgotten about. Charlize Theron, who transformed herself for Mad Max Fury Road, for Monster. Playing real life murderess. Good actress, very pretty, doesn't mind doing shock, stunting, casting. Charlize Theron, can be very intense, can be very aloof, can be very elevated. Can she do the flippancy of Freddy Krueger? No. She's a good actress and she's very versatile. So, I wouldn't put it past her to be able to do that. And again, the essential quality, the thing you cannot lose about Frederica Krueger, is that they've got to be burned. You can't change that. Surely to God, you can't change that. Because if you don't have Freddy Krueger as your antagonist, who is a dream demon who's burnt and disfigured because of what happened in the revenge, you can't twist that round, can you? Because if you do, then it's not Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not the same thing at all. So you've got to keep those elements completely, sacred. So Charlize Theron, who's forever doing these beautiful adverts for perfumes and fucking whatever, body sprays, and just strutting around in golden temples and pools and that, what was it? Christiana Dior, is it? I don't know. I don't give a fuck. But and she's drop dead gorgeous. No matter how old she gets, she's still drop dead gorgeous. So having that as Frederica Krueger, it's kind of strange, isn't it? Well, you've got some food for thought, haven't you, folks? I've put the cat amongst the pigeons. I hope I have, anyway. Because, as I say, I've heard this oft-told story that Robert Englund wants Kevin Bacon to play Freddy Krueger. And Jason Blum, Jason Blum, fuck off. Leave stuff alone. But if you're going to do it, or anyone's going to do it, then do it with pride and don't do it in the Halloween fashion. Because you know what this will be? It's going to be either a complete reboot, reimagining, a beginning, a remake, or it's going to be a sequel to the first movie, like Halloween, the new Halloween movies, and jettison all the rest. Again, maybe perhaps in the sort of Elm Street franchise, that might not be such a bad idea. But but where would you go with it exactly? Because everyone's dead apart from Nancy, and she defeated him at the end of the first one, and then he's going to come back again, or does he go transgender, then become Charlize Theron or Olivia Colman? By the way, Olivia Colman, sorry, I didn't say enough. She would be magnificent. She's also a phenomenal actor, and she has so much gravitas and power and intensity, and crucially, a great wicked sense of humour as well. Timing is immaculate, so she could, and even her comedic timing is unpredictable. And you go, oh, and she turns a character on their head straight away. Perfect for Freddy, luring someone in, you know, and then suddenly turning, and is it a turn of a nastiness with the claws, or is it going to be just like a little joke, a little aside? Who knows? And she's good at that. I think all women are good at that, though. They're all great at being, leading you on and then being absolutely bloody terrifying at the last moment and sending you hurtling off in the wrong direction. You're like, oh, I hate women. I don't know. So who's my ideas then? Well, you got Kevin Bacon, who he wasn't my idea, but I'll be honest, it's not a bad candidate at all. England says this, and I think a few people have said it as well, but I've not heard what actually Kevin Bacon said about it. Don't know. And what is Bacon doing apart from EE adverts? He's been in a couple of TV shows, and do know that. And he may have made a movie as well, but it's kind of like, well, the very fact that I can't think of any titles at all means that hardly that stellar. But Kevin Bacon, yeah, I wouldn't mind. Jim Carrey, my idea, yeah, I think he'd be outstanding. I think he could do it, and I think it's something that he would actually need to do. It could really revamp, reshape his career. Andy Serkis, yeah. I mean, I think he's a bit of an obvious one, really, because he plays monster characters all the time, and he is a very intense actor, and he's got the shaped face already, and kind of like that little curmudgeonly sort of look. You put the burn makeup on, and he's there, and he would be able to do it. Stephen Graham, fantastic, a world-class actor who can drift into characters. Freddy Krueger with a Scouse accent, that could be very interesting. But Stephen Graham can do other accents. He's very good at accents. Mel Gibson, I think that'd be spectacular. I kind of see it happening, but I would love that. Love to see that. That could be great. Do you want to dream? Do you really want to dream? I want to dream. Let's dream. Come on, let's dream. It'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Colin Farrell, yeah, very intense. After seeing him as the Penguin in the Batman, and the way he can adapt to the facial prosthetics and be transformed, and his eyes had that intensity. You put those eyes beaming through the Penguin makeup, but put it with burn makeup on, you've got Freddy. And he can act, and he can be OTT and really out there. Tom Cruise can do it. Tom Cruise can, but will he? No. Johnny Depp, it would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Would be brilliant. And it would be a nice sort of like bookend. Wow, we brought back Heather Langenkamp playing Frederica Krueger. Nah, I don't think she could do it. I do like Heather Langenkamp. I think she's a good actress, but I don't think she could do this. I don't think she'd want to either, to be honest. Jack Nicholson, too old, and he would only be he's hardly going to be very physical doing it, is he? You need someone who's also physical as well, to leap out of things and to suddenly spring out and like pursue people. down, the factory and all the pipes and all that. Someone's got to have a physical, not just the face. They've got to strike the poses, with the finger claws and all that. You've got to be able to do all that as well. Jacko Nicholson, no. Face is great. Don't think you could do it now though. Samuel L. Jackson, that's not going to fucking happen, is it? No motherfucking way. Olivia Colman, could be interesting. Charlize Theron, could be very interesting. I know, there's people out there going like, Kilt-Man, what the hell are you talking about? Because you've gone completely against what you've always said. The thing is, folks, this will happen. You're going to get another Nightmare on Elm Street. Whether they make it a TV show, whether they make it a feature film, with the idea of spawning another franchise, and then a fucking TV show as well. It's going to happen. England isn't going to do it. He doesn't want to do it. He said he agrees to come back for a cameo. He will not come back to play Freddy. He said this categorically. He won't do it. He's done enough already. So you've got to look for someone else now. And it won't be Jackie L. Haley either. Who is a great actor. He is. He's great. But they fucked it up, and he won't come back for that. And they're not going to bring him back for that. Because it's poison, that now. So there's my lineup there. Including one person that was already in the running, Kevin Bacon. But I don't know what he said. And he may be like, I'm not doing that. I'm too busy like doing me UK adverts for EE. Because he is very busy doing on that. And maybe I might do another Tremors movie. I don't know. Anyway, folks, that's my little chat on the revamp, reboot, reimagining, remake, sequel, whatever the fuck it is, of Nightmare on Elm Street. Bringing Freddy Krueger back.
Is God.
You ain't wrong there, Fred. This is God. I think I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I've said before, it's the first film I ever bought brand new. Back in the 80s when films were coming out on sell-through. Well, when this film came out on home video, you couldn't get it on sell-through. You get ex-rental movies, but I bought this. I had many movies which were bought full price from the actual wholesalers. But my friend, his name was James Chinnery. James Chinnery. What's the short version of James? It's Jim. So Jim Chinnery. Jim Chinnery. Yeah. But also married to the fabulously gorgeous Tina, who wore the tightest jeans in the 80s and white stilettos. Yeah, people are going like, the tight jeans and the white stilettos. What a tramp. Fuck off. Absolutely adored anyone, even a man wearing tight denims and white high heels. I was there. And she used to be the one they owned a video library across the road from my house. And she'd always be putting the displays up. He knew what he was doing. Because he was about 8 feet tall and she was only about 5'1", but so slim, but curvy and in their jeans. I've gone off on a tangent here, I know, but hey, ride with me. And she'd be in the double window display, putting all the new posters up, and of course all the schoolboys would be there, and they were straight in there to get the latest releases. Well, anyway, because I knew Jim and he knew that I was a massive movie buff, and I was still writing stories and writing reviews for local press, even at a young age. And I said, I'd seen that when I was, and like I said, it blew me away. I've got to have a copy of that the day it comes. And I said, well, okay, I'll order an extra copy, one for you, VHS or Beta. And I was Betamax at the time, so I said, I'll have it on Beta. And here it is. There's the original UK copy of Nightmare on Elm Street, fully uncut as well. So with a full Tina blood splurge. Now, there's the cassette inside. Now, you can see there it's degraded a lot. But of course it's going to degrade, isn't it? But I'm going to show you something else in here as well. I have shown this before, I know I have. But the receipt is here somewhere. Right, let's show you this now. Here's the receipt. Right, from JR Video. The date is 27th of the 3rd, 86. Nightmare on Elm Street, unit price £45. That's £45. Back then, that's a lot of money. But you got to pay VAT on that. You got to pay tax. £6.75. So the whole total came to £51.75 for that. And but for me, that was money well spent. I played this a hell of a lot. And I'm also the guy that bought 2 copies of Lethal Weapon when it first came out. Well, 2, because I knew I'd wear one out. But, and I did. And I've still got them. But there's the original Betamax copy of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that bloody ring light. So there you go. Video cassettes, aren't they cute? Aren't they cute? Sleep kills. Also, I've got a...
No running in the hallway.
You told us, yeah. I'm not running, I'm just sitting here. My daughter also is a dead ringer for particularly that image, that poster image of Heather Langenkamp playing Nancy Thompson. My daughter's face is that, although she's lost a bit of weight now, so she's not quite got the puppy fat now, which Heather was sporting. But so yeah, this movie means a lot to me. And I want to see a legacy. I want to see a remake, a continuation, treated right, do it right, and get the right person to play Freddy Krueger. And as I said throughout this, I am not averse to making it a woman, because I think that would really, really make the character even more subversive. And you need that. You can bring the humour in, you can bring the one-liners in, but you've got to make sure that you recapture the genuine aggression, nastiness, and the real, the taint and the poison of this character, of this dream demon who has done in real life the most horrendous things and then been punished, but come back to punish those who took them out, you know. So a lot more to Freddy Krueger than you think. If you ditch all those sequels and all the pathetic slapstick and the one-liners, it became too much. It wallowed in comedy and anarchy, and it lost all its fear potential. So whoever's going to do this, Blumhouse, almost certainly, hope you listen to me and take some of this on board, because your track record so far is shit. So you've got a lot to live up to. You've got a lot to make up for. Don't screw this one up. Nightmare on Elm Street, folks. Who's going to be the new Freddy Krueger? Is it Kevin Bacon? Is it Johnny Depp? Is it Olivia Colman? Is it Samuel L. Jackson? Is it Boris Johnson? Oh, that's a fucking nightmare, isn't it? But anyway, folks, I've been always Shabby Kilt-Man. I've been talking a lot with no liquid sort of sustenance in between. Please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. In the meantime, it's ever like finger slicing, dream intruding, break the fourth wall. In between time, keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. And I'm going to see you all in a dreamscape. See what I did there? Near you soon. And watch Dreamscape, because David Patrick Kelly in the dream world does come out with claws in the dream world, and that film came out before Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh yes, it did. Laters.